Good afternoon everybody and welcome to Wild Earth on this beautiful sunny afternoon here in Juma Game Reserve. My name's Tara, I'm going to be your guide for the next 3 hours. Joining me on camera is Daniel and back in front of control is Mark. I've been enjoying watching these giraffes and one of them on the left seems to be quite focused on something happening into the bush, so I definitely want to have a look. But for the time being we haven't seen the adults of these youngsters. The two males in front of us are probably about just over a year old, maybe about a year and a half, and the other giraffe a bit further to their left is probably a little bit older, maybe about 2.5, 3 years old. But there should be some adults around here who I haven't seen, so it could be that's what they're watching. As well as us. I've been trying to encourage one of the young males, the one on the right, to actually try and do a couple of circuits around the quarantine area. It looks like he was a little bit constipated just before we went live. He was straining. Yeah, he's not been taking me on, unfortunately.
Just to let you know, picture's jumping a little bit, but it seems like the sound seems to be streaming fine.
You may see all of them just busy chewing the cud at the moment, just chewing around. So whatever they've gathered earlier on in the day, they're now throwing it back up from their stomach, along with all the bacteria in their first stomach, the rumen, mixing it around with the saliva and chewing it down, so it's almost like a soup, so that it's easier for them to digest later on. And they can do this while they're resting during the heat of the day. I'd love to know where their parents are. Now this is one thing about giraffes, you don't see them rolling around in mud, and they may or may not stand in shade. You can see them right out in the open. I'm finding it quite hot, but to them this is nothing. And there's a few theories behind how they can be active during the day, and especially during the heat of the day where a lot of animals have to go and seek shelter and seek shade. And this could be down to those large dark patches on their body, and it has been found they've got a lot of blood vessels underneath those dark spots, and that may help to release a lot of that energy that they'll produce in that body. So that may help to cool them down, maybe the lighter areas reflecting the heat, and may even help to set up a little current, maybe a bit like that of the zebra, although people still don't know why zebras have stripes. But that is one of the theories, the black absorbing the heat, the white reflecting the heat, and a little current helps to keep them slightly cooler. And that could also be one of the reasons why they've grown such a long neck. It increases their surface area, a bit like an elephant's ears do. So again, there's a lot more patches on that neck, and that may help them to release a lot more heat than when they were living without it. But who knows? Could be a whole combination of factors.
It looks like a bee or something here.
Optical illusion.
I'm hearing a bird that you don't often get a chance to hear. It may be a little bit too far, but listen out for a whistle. Sounds like an admiral's whistle. It's gone quiet now, but it's of the grey hornbill. Something along those lines. Aha! I do see an adult looking, actually just in the direction that they're both looking in now. There's an adult emerging from around the back of Inga's house. And it's those white ears that stick out like a sore thumb that I saw first. And that's possibly what they're seeing. You can actually see one through the trees there. Maybe that's their mothers there. Ah, here they come. 3 of them. I wonder if we're going to get these boys running over. Giraffe society is very loose, but even at this age there will be quite a strong bond between the mother and the calves. Though at this stage they shouldn't be drinking milk anymore. They should be fully weaned. Yeah, looks like the ladies are going to come over. I think let's just wait here and see how they interact with each other. Just going to pull forward a little bit just in case it happens behind the bushes here. But they are slowly making their way. One or two stopping along the way. Oh, they are all female, so I think they are all the mothers. Hello, lady. Oh, I think that was her calf, the one that's just disappearing behind the bush now. Let's see who belongs to this female walking up. Yep, I think that's hers. And it looks like the youngest belongs to the female in front here. Were you having a mother's meeting? The boys are waiting patiently for their mothers to return. You can just about see they reach just to the tip of the back on the mothers, and that gives you a rough estimate of about a year old. So they may still be taking a little bit of milk at this stage. Let's see if we can catch up with them again. But usually they're weaned about 6 months to 8 months. But you may get 1 or 2 individuals still taking milk until a year old. And they are one of the fastest growing mammals. And in 1 week, they can grow 23 centimeters. It's pretty impressive. And they'll continue to have a huge growth spurt in the first year. And as they start to reach maturity around 7 years old, they will begin to slow down in the rate that they grow. Where are you going, guys? You're going the other way around. Okay, let's go around this way because I do want to see if there was anything else, but I'm pretty sure it was their mothers that they were looking out for. Maybe just seeing the white ears as they came through the bush. Now you can already see there's a huge difference between their spot patterns and the darkness of the coat as well. And that youngster is extremely dark. I wonder if he's going to be almost black when he's older. But it is controlled by genetics, and the female off to the left is lighter in colour. And generally you will get males, especially old males, being a lot darker than females, but it is only a generalisation. You can get females that are incredibly dark. You can get males that are fairly light in colour. So it is only a generalisation. You may even be able to see those white ears I was just talking about. Very striking, especially when they turn the head away. And with the giraffe having extremely good eyesight, you can see they've got large eyes compared to the size of their head. That's one of their main senses. There you go. Little one drinking there. Just as I was saying earlier, they can still take milk up until about a year or so old. And you saw how difficult it was trying to get milk in that position. And with her teats being almost 1.5 meters, 2 meters off the ground, that's one of the reasons why baby giraffe have to be that tall when they're first born. So they can reach up to the teats. Now I wonder what she's seeing. See, she's watching something quite intently. And even at this age, they will fall prey to lions, maybe even hyena, if they manage to get a good run at it, without the females in the way. But the females will herd the young underneath the legs, and they can kick front ways, back ways, sideways. And they have been known to kill lion with just a single kick. So they're not the easiest of prey to tackle. But if a youngster does stray from a female too far, then it is a lot easier for predators to tackle than the adults. I think we need to have a look down this way. Let's see what this lady is looking at. Well, the other two don't really seem to be too bothered. What are you seeing, lady? You can see she had her ears forward, her eyes, with that brilliant eyesight, with the eyes being right on top of the head there. They have their own periscope on board. Being able to see over a lot of the vegetation. Quite a big advantage when it comes to spotting predators. May even be another giraffe, maybe a male giraffe that she was seeing. Or it could even be this impala here. Maybe the movement caught her eye. Ooh, on a bit of an angle here. I wonder if there should be another male around somewhere, because he looks like he is displaying, thrashing the bush, marking the bush with the gland in between his eyes on his forehead. But it could have been that, or even the noise that she was listening to. Okay, he's actually smacking his lips as well. You might see his tongue coming out occasionally. It's another form of threatening display. It could be that the other ram we can't see, maybe it's hidden around by the back of the termite mound. Well, he does keep looking over his shoulder, so maybe he's actually at the back there. In the direction he's looking. Maybe giving him a side profile, showing him how big his body is. Now if you look closer, you can actually see the ridges on his horns. Oh, he's turned around now. That's not helpful, mister. You might just be able to see those ridges. Now when they do decide to fight, and that's after all these displays, because at the end of the day, if they fight and they injure themselves, that could be detrimental. They might not be able to escape from predators, so it could cause them, or even just the injury alone could cause them to either fall to disease and could lead to the death. So they go through all these displays to try and work out if they're going to be stronger than the other ram, and if that can't happen, that's when you get the rams interlocking the horns and testing their strength. And those ridges on the horns are to stop the horns from slipping, because the whole aim of the game is not to actually harm the opponent, it's to test the strength. And I think that's where he's hiding, seems he's walking over there now. Could be the other male's taking the hint. I always find this interaction so fascinating, and even though it may be an impala, and even though impala may be numerous, there's always still something that's interesting about them, and especially this time of year with all this behaviour, especially these males rutting, and just these subtle signs, I think is something just to have a look at and to enjoy. And certainly this male, I think, has pushed home the fact that this is his territory. Doesn't look like we're going to get any roaring from him. So we'll have to try and find another male, see if we can get that sound from them. You're falling off then. You're on a bit of a slope there. Well, I'm satisfied. That's what the female giraffe was looking at. Let's go and check out Chelapan, I think. See if there's anyone around there. And I don't know if... Hi, cattle. Good afternoon to you. And welcome on board the Gundra on this beautiful day. I feel like I've been trapped indoors for too long. And I hope you are well. And I think you were asking about the draft just a little bit earlier. And wanting to know if the females meet on a daily basis. It's almost as if they were going to a mother's meeting. But giraffe can be sociable creatures. They can be on their own. So it could be that those females, I think with the three boys being together, or at least two of the boys, I didn't see what the other one was, but at least with them being together, oh, we have them here again. I think they just, oh, sorry little one, right next to the road here, hiding behind the bush. I think with them being together, I think they just left the boys. And either the boys wandered off or the females did. And again, with them being this age, they don't have to be close to the females. They do have some form of protection themselves, but they will still try and be with the females when they can for protection. As I said earlier, they will still be a little bit vulnerable at this age. But certainly when they're under a year old, they do stick closer, especially in areas where there's a lot of predators. What you find is if there's any areas with a lack of predators, those youngsters tend to start wandering off on their own a lot earlier. Oh, it is a little male, so it's all three males. Let's say this one I think is probably about 2.5 years old. And the youngest one probably just over a year old. Oh, she's on a mission. So already we've got a split again. We've got the female right down that side and the boys here. So it could have been the females walked away and the boys just didn't follow. Ooh, there's some big elephant tracks going that way. Maybe we need to check out Rebecca's Road as well. I see a plan forming. But you can find giraffes in herds, you can find them in mixed herds, males and females, find them just females, just males. And the same female may associate with a group one day and then decide actually she wants to be on her own the next day. It's very, very loose. So we're now on Chelapan Road, not at Chelapan just yet. And if we do have any new viewers on board, anyone that wants to be reminded of the email address, if you would like to send through any questions this afternoon, let us know where you're from in the world. It's always great to hear from you. Those of you who don't believe that this is live, maybe try it out. But you can send them through to questions@wildearthsafari.tv. It's questions@wildearthsafari.tv. And it is great to be out and about this afternoon. I feel like I was grounded. Can't remember who said that now. I think it was Gloria. I've been grounded. Nobody out and about around Chelapan this afternoon. Big male lion tracks. I've got to show you these. Just the one now, but it'll give you an idea. This is a huge cat. If you're ready to stretch your legs. Look at the size of this. Wow. That's my hand. And this is the lion track here. That is amazing. And you can see these toes are quite far from the pad. So here's the edge of the pad just here, and these toes up here. So with the leopard you'd actually find the toes much closer to the pad. And a leopard pat, the male could be that wide, but it would tend to be about this sort of size here on the back pad, and you'd actually have the toes much closer, so it makes a much rounder track. Whereas here you can see this is quite an oval track. But that is a big, big male. And you can see even.
They're very fresh too.
Yeah, it is. Might be able to hear Mark saying very good.
Elephants.
Oh, we got some elephants. Okay, we need to climb back in the car.
Big elephant.
I'm going to see if they're going to pop out here. So yeah, if you've ever wanted to see what a lion track looks like, so I think we'll be heading in that direction. But let's have a look at these beautiful big pachyderms as they come out into the open. And it looks like they might even go towards the little pan for some mud bathing. I'm going to see if we can actually follow the road around a little bit. So I just wanted to check on where it was they were going to go. Pachyderm, meaning thick-skinned, like the rhinos and the elephants. And quite amazing, you may have actually heard very soft sound of the bush. But otherwise, very little sound coming from these stunning creatures. There's a lady with only one tusk. Hello, lady. Have you seen lion today? I think they're going to cross just in front of us. Check that trunk just poking out behind the bush. Having a quick sniff of us. It does look like they are making their way there. The backs do look quite dry, so I don't think they've been anywhere else where they could go and wallow in some mud. Okay, most of them are moving off the road, so let's see if we can join them up there. Although she's going off in that direction, so maybe she's got a different place in mind. Yeah, they're moving that way. Here's the pan. Maybe they're going to head down towards Treehouse down there. Let's see if we can catch them on the other side. They are moving fairly fast. And they're on that kind of an angle, so we should be able to catch up with them, I hope. But then we do need to go back that way and try and follow hard lion tracks, because as Mark said, they do look fairly fresh. But if I was that lion and it's quite warm today, I'll be sleeping underneath a bush somewhere. So I've often seen rhino using that trail that comes through here, and they kind of pop out somewhere around here. Unless they decide to divert. Which they could do. Good afternoon, any stations out on drive. Had a Llanbihaf and Glove, Banbring south from Chelapan Road. I'm trying to relocate them on Weaver's Nest. Maybe somewhere around here. Now what I didn't get to show you, I'll see if you can just listen out for any branches breaking. What I didn't get a chance to show you with the track was why it was so fresh. Now you can actually see all the detail really nicely. Now as that track will diminish, all the sides of the track will start to become rounded and you may not see that much detail on it. And even in the shallow part of the sand, a little bit further back, you could still see there was one or two tracks there. See. I think it might be worth us just driving in just a little bit. Let's say this was the angle that they were travelling in. And that part of the bush does tend to get a little bit thick. So if we can try and find a way in here. get over it? Not. I need to go over a bit more. Is it just in the crook of the tree? Slightly more. But they did seem to be moving at a bit of a pace, and I didn't want to go in behind them. So I think they would have felt that we were chasing them a little bit, because they did seem to be a little bit uneasy. So I'd rather try and get round the front of them if I can. But I think maybe they did decide to go a different way. And at the end of the day, we can only try and predict from what we see. And sometimes it might not happen the way that we thought. Let's see if I can hear them. So yeah, just the pace they were moving, I expect them to be coming out here somewhere. Looking for any telltale signs of the trees waving. Ah, there they are. Just through there. We might just need to pull back just a little bit. Can you see them at the moment?
No, love.
We've gone that way. Oh, there she is. Where are you going, lady? So I make my way from here. You're going to turn around and go that way, aren't you? Oh, she's standing there laughing at me. Can you see her through there at all? Kind of. There? I want to try and see which direction she goes in before I move further that way. Good afternoon, any stations out on drive? I've got a Llanbihf and Glove just south of Chelapan Road. And if anyone can copy me, I also had some Nkonzos of Ngala, Wamodora on Twin Dams Road. I'm going to spend a bit of time with the Ndlovu and then go and try and follow up.
Copy, Tara. What direction is that in dollars per day?
North from Chelapan itself. I was just about to follow up and then the Ndlovu came through. They are settling down a little bit.
Okay, copy, thank you. Car coming.
I copied that, thank you. I'm just going to wait here patiently and see where they do actually go. So it does look like they have dropped their speed now. They're starting to feed on the trees a lot more. And there's a couple of cows coming our way. It looks like the herd are basically moving this way, I think. Now what we've got here is probably just maybe one or two family groups. Could be one group. Mother with a number of different age calves, maybe her sister, maybe her auntie, maybe her mother. You do get these extended families, and once in a while they'll join together. And you can get huge herds. I've yet to see a herd of 300 elephants, and I'd love to see that. Getting closer. Okay, we may see a couple coming out now.
North of Jellicoe Dam. Get the more Ndlovu side. Okay, copy that.
And it sounds like there's a lot of elephants around today, and it could be they're all part of the same extended family, and they could also be in contact with each other using sounds that are inaudible to us. At low frequencies they may be able to detect with their feet through the ground. There we go. And it's even believed they can recognise each other up to 1 or 2 kilometres away. And they may be able to hear each other maybe 4 or 5 kilometres away. And when they give off this loud trumpeting call which we can hear, it may carry for 10 kilometres. So even though we may not be able to hear them, they will be talking with each other. What was that about, lady? Shame. I think the young bull who's just left the screen, she's gave him a bit of a reprimand. Now, at first glance, you may see this elephant being threatening towards us, but you can see she's feeding, and she's not really focusing on us at all. And that's one thing that's very important when it comes to looking for these signs of aggression. You look at the whole thing, and not just one element on its own. So, generally when ears are flapping, and they have this upright stance and they're focusing on you, that can be taken as a warning. But with her just feeding, she's pulling up the grass and she's not really looking at us. It's more likely to do with her trying to cool herself down. Hey lady. Sorry, him. I'm saying it's a lady, it's actually a boy. He's right in the way now. I'm going to try and move my head. Now, just as I was saying about the giraffe's neck possibly increasing the surface area, those giant ears of theirs also helps to increase their surface area. And by flapping their ears like that, it's allowing airflow over them. And if you look carefully, you can actually see the veins protruding through that thin skin. And in 20 minutes, all of their blood that circulates around the body can actually be pumped through those ears and cooled down. And it can actually cool them down as much as 3 degrees, which doesn't sound a lot, but it is a great amount. So it's their very own cooling system. And there's the female with just the one tusk at the back. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if she's the matriarch. And there's so many surrounding us, this is fantastic. And it looks like she may even be an estrus. You can see next to her eye, the temporal lobe is weeping slightly. And even though they don't really have a strict breeding season, you may find a lot of matings happening this time of year. And we have seen quite a big increase in males associating with the females quite recently. Young bull here in front of us. Okay, see, now he's quite easy to tell. And as I'm just saying that, here comes a big bull. I think this is the big male who I saw the tracks of earlier. Wow. Good afternoon to you, mister. Look at that greeting by everybody. I think this is our bull who we had down by Twin Downs the other day. I think these are the tracks that I saw just up by Quarantine. His trunk is probably the same thickness as my leg. Bless you. I wonder if he's going to follow her. Hello, lady. Yeah, here he comes. Wow. Sure. My word. I am absolutely speechless. I feel very dwarfed right now. Incredible. How are you doing back there, Daniel? And I must admit, I'm very, very relieved he's not one of those bulls that can get quite aggressive. And again, just like the young bull was doing, using his ears to cool down, there was no malice there whatsoever. You could see him lifting up his trunk and taking a good smell of us as well. Wow. I think that certainly was worth waiting for. I'll try and swing around in there if I can. It does look like they are heading down towards Treehouse Dam, after all. I think our best bet is to go out the way we came by the looks of it. How are you guys doing back home? I hope you're alright. Sure. Trying to avoid one branch, managed to find another. We should almost be out on the road. I think it's worth us maybe trying Treehouse Dam and seeing how they get on down there. So let's go this way. Do I need to go this way instead? I'll try here. out onto the road now, so it took a little bit longer than I thought. There they are. Sure, very strong smell now. I didn't see he was in must. Oh, look at the light on him now. Got a long way to go before you're that size, little one. Hello? Any stations interested? The Slambiv and Love are heading towards Weaver's Nest now, and there's a Makula Madura with them as well. I would also like to head back towards the open area at some stage, because it looks like the baboons have headed back there. If anybody's interested, the Slambiv and Love are heading towards Weaver's Nest now, and there's a Makula Madura and Love with them. See that little bit of cartilage right in the tip of the trunk. Whereas most of the trunk is muscle. Hi Sue, great to hear from you this afternoon. Wanting to know how old that bull might be. And I didn't see very deep indentations in his head, though he's extremely tall and his tusks are probably about the same width as my arm. But just judging by its head, I don't think he's as old as he looks. Maybe at a guess, I'd say maybe about 40, in his 40s. Those grooves just on the side of the head tend to get deeper with age. And the tusks dictated by genetics, so you can get elephants exactly the same age having different sized tusks, different length tusks, and they tend to have a growth spurt right towards the end of their life. Hello. beautiful. I hope you heard that. But hi, Bets. Great to hear you with us with the elephants. I hope you enjoyed seeing that huge bull. He's somewhere hidden behind the bushes now. Maybe he'll come out again. I'm wondering if the baby elephant's skin is as tough as old boots, or whether it's softer. And I do remember touching a baby elephant's skin. And I think it's much softer, if I remember rightly. It's quite a long time ago, but it is softer than what it looks, but still pretty tough. But it does need to keep it in good condition. That's why they roll in mud so much, because it's a fantastic moisturiser, so it does keep it soft and supple. And even rhinos, especially underneath their legs, is very soft and smooth. And even though I didn't get a chance to feel under there, I'd say that's actually a lot softer than obviously the skin on their back, which does have to be fairly thick and hard for protection against the sun. I'm just going to see if we can move down, because the rest of the family are crossing over now. Okay, we're not going to roll anywhere. Oh, here comes the big bull again. I'll have another chance to see him. Quickly move forward. He's going to pop out just around here. It's amazing, he just dwarfs all of these elephants. Here he comes. I think so too, Jack. Thinks we should call him the boss. I think so. He does have a slight tear in his right ear, so I do wonder if he has been seen. And probably the tusks are about the length of my arm that's actually protruding out of the mouth, and obviously they do go a bit further into the skin. So probably the length of my whole leg would be about right for the length of the tusks there. You can see that tear on the ear quite nicely now. But again, you can see what I was talking about with the dents. Maybe I can roll down this time. Here we go. Like I was saying about the dents in the head, he doesn't really have those deep grooves at all. So maybe early 40s. But I think he does have the potential to be a tusker. Ooh. Oh, maybe we should stay with them just a little bit longer as the light is starting to, well, the sun's starting to go down, so the cooler temperatures will hopefully encourage some of the cats maybe to wake up. Maybe it might be worth us making a drive towards Twin Dams Road and seeing if those tracks come to anything. Although I think Texan was talking about some other tracks heading over onto Gowrie Cut Line, and over in towards the Manuletti, and there hasn't been too much wind about, so maybe that's why those tracks looked much fresher than what they were. You can see on this bull there's no sign of being immersed, so maybe that's why he's not following that cow very closely. But when they do come into must, that means that they're ready for mating. And that period can last a few days or a few months, but they tend to come into must once a year. And I think someone was asking a little while ago, will a bull be interested in a female that's in estrus? And we didn't see him really interacting with her at all. Will a bull that's not in must be interested? But what I would like to know is if she is in estrus, will it actually encourage him to come into must at some stage? Although I think he may have already been in must, if I can remember rightly, he did look like he had signs of just being in must or just coming into must. And now his temporal lobe isn't weeping. I'm not really smelling that must smell, especially when they dribble urine. It tends to be a green colour all down the legs, and he doesn't have any signs of that. Hi Carol, wanting to know what a tusker is, and these are big bulls who have, well, I suppose they can be cows as well, I think there are some tuskers, and they just have exceptionally large tusks. I think some of the largest can reach right down to the ground, and there's actually a Hall of Fame. There's actually a Hall of Fame up in Lataba Camp, I think it is, where they've got the Magnificent Seven, who were very famous. I think there may be one or two tuskers still around, but sadly through hunting, there's not as many as what there used to be. Let's go and see if there's any elephants at the dam at this point in time. We're all heading off into the drainage line here. And as I say, once they get maybe about 50, maybe even 60, they tend to have this growth spurt towards the end of these tusks, and they can just become incredibly large and incredibly long over a few years. Elephants, roughly around the same lifespan as humans, maybe about 65, 70, 75 years old. Still all too far back, but let's go and have a look at Treehouse Dam. Well, we've got one or two here. Maybe some of the other members have made their way through already. This is what we call a bush roadblock. So maybe I can put terms for you. This bull's tusks look maybe about this size. There we go. Whereas that bull, I'd probably say, was roughly around this thickness. and probably about twice the length, if not 2.5 times the length of the tusk that you can see actually coming out of the skin there. What you doing, mister? Say not much. Oh, I see a warthog. Oh, warthog gone. I'll meet you down there. Hey, Mr. Hippo. Well, it is starting to get a little bit chilly. I do wonder if they're going to bathe in the mud. Comes at the back door, is he? I can hear him. The hippo is surprisingly quiet. Maybe he's had enough of trying to display to vehicles. Maybe he realises we're actually not wanting to dive in there with him. I just trying to remember the weight of those tusks as well. I think they got to about, maybe somebody can correct me, but I think one tusk could weigh in around 300 kilos. Now generally, on average, they'd weigh in about the same as a baby elephant, which is about 100 kilos either side. But some of the huge tusks, I mean, you're talking about tusks that may even be 3/4 of the length of this vehicle, so maybe from the bonnet to where, yeah, maybe about where the camera sort of ends. We're talking about that sort of length for some of these huge tuskers. I've actually got a picture with me standing under one, and the tusks are taller than me, and that's to where the mouth is. Oh, 170. Oh, that was it. So it was the combined weight was 300 of one of these particular bulls. So it's about 117 kgs. Oh, 107. Oh, of course it is. 117. So 200 and what was it? 230 kgs combined weight. So thanks for correcting me on that one. I can never remember weights and things. So yeah, so the heaviest one, 117 combined weight, just over 200 kgs. He's taking his time now. Oh, mishear it, 107, not 117. That was the biggest tusker on record. That was a single one. Oh, it was 117. Mark's confusing me now. Okay, so the biggest single one was 117 kilos. That was for a single tusk. Sure. Colombian mammoth holds the record for the heaviest tusk at 220, was it? 220 kgs? I wonder where the 300 came into it somewhere. Maybe I was just dreaming about that. Ah, maybe that was it. Maybe that's what I read. 300 pounds instead of kilos. Maybe. Okay. Well, apparently our date isn't going to turn up. Hippo seems disinterested in us. You might have heard the call of the Cape turtle dove. So, I think these elephants are going to be taking a little while to come through. So let's go and have a look around for these baboons, because I really want to try and catch up with Shirley. Because as yet we haven't got her on camera with her newborn. And maybe have a look around the dam for any signs of Karula and the cubs. Maybe they already drank at Gowrie Dam. I did wonder while they were coming through, or maybe they'll just keep heading this way and they'll take their time. I think I might have picked up some elephant dung by accident. Oh, there they come. Just waiting for me to leave. Hi, Carol. Interesting question. I just want to see what this young bull's going to do, because I think he's luring me. Wanting to know if there's an elephant name for a bull past his prime, because obviously we do have the nickname Duggar Boys for male buffalo. Okay, he's going to linger, I think. So let's continue on. And as far as I know, I don't think there is. I think Tusker is kind of really used for those old bulls. But even then, you may get a very old bull that hasn't had a growth spurt on his tusks. As far as I know, I don't think there is. Duggar Boys being used for buffalo, because they tend to roll in mud a lot more than the females do, and the prime bulls they tend to spend more of their days wallowing in the mud, cooling off. Because they don't really have a cooling system like that of the elephant, or maybe even the giraffe. And even though the dog bodies may help in certain areas, it may help to warm them up on the cool mornings, it can also increase the body temperature by actually increasing the heat that they take in. Black usually absorbing heat, light or white reflecting heat. And sadly, it also attracts a lot of the insects, so it does make you wonder exactly why buffaloes became dark in the first place. Although it is thought when there is a lot of water, which they do have, they can cope with fairly hot temperatures. And it's thought lighter animals, for some reason, may contract diseases a lot more. Although lighter animals don't seem to attract the flies as much. Shorthorn's been on the territory marking stage again. But let's keep going this way and then maybe do a lap around if we have a chance. Stations Lefty and Glove, open lock, heading towards Treehouse Dam from the east. Oh, sorry, no one. Where'd you go? Crested Franklin. Being kamikaze this afternoon. Along with a red-billed hornbill. Looks like he's going to try and have a bit of dust bathing going on there. Standing by.
Sorry, did you have a
I was just giving an update to Lefty and Glove, heading towards Treehouse Dam, open lock.
Okay, copy, thank you.
Has there been any updates on Karula at all?
No, nothing. Part of it I'm working. That area is Zoe's Road, quarantine area at the moment, but no sign.
Copy. I'm also going to head back and have a look around quarantine area, Gary Dam, that area. Okay, so somebody is checking Zoe's Road. And we were discussing the line sport earlier on. So it sounds like Lex is checking out Zoe's Road for us. So if there is any sign of the rhino, he'll let us know, which helps us out. So I wonder where these baboons went. Hi, Jamie. Arizona sunset. And I bet they're quite spectacular. Welcome on board this afternoon. Average lifespan of an elephant is roughly about 65, 70, maybe 75 years. A bit of a push. So roughly around the average human. Just in case anyone missed the bird names, that was a crested francolin, and the bird just behind it was the red-billed hornbill. Oh. Try and stop and show you the Natal francolin, who's making a lot of noise with its little family there. Natal francolin, slightly larger than the crested, orange legs, orange beak, who should be heading to bed by now. The sun's setting. And the baboons did walk this way. So let's go and check out their sleeping spot. See if we can catch them before they go to bed. Are you holding on there? Though she is a little bit shy still. We did see her around camp a couple of days ago, and I was trying to get a picture, and as soon as I got my camera she said, "Nah, I'm not showing you now." But I must admit I am very, very relieved, because she looked like she was close to term a little while ago. And I've started thinking, well, maybe something's happened, maybe she's had a miscarriage, because to me, she should have had the baby a lot sooner, just by the way she was looking. But thankfully, she gave birth just over a week ago now. Apparently it's a little boy, and I think its name is Genesis, named by Graham, who is studying the baboons. I see a vehicle. Let's go this way. Hi Heather, good to hear from you. And I hope Mr. B is well as well. One of these days I'll break that habit. As well. Maybe someone can count how many times I say as well in a drive. As well. Heather wanting to know how long females can be in estrus for. And if memory serves me right, which I'm sure Mark will be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't actually last that long. I think she's only in estrus for 4 or 5, maybe 6 days. And if a bull hasn't found her in that period, then she may come into estrus again later on in the year. Ah. Okay. Mark's saying 15 to 16 weeks. I shall have to have another look. Yeah, I think it could be that, maybe every 15 to 16 weeks. I'm sure, because I was actually quite shocked when I read it, thinking that it was going to be a lot longer than what it was. Mark's saying, whispering in my ear. Mark's just having a quick check as well. And we'll have a quick look at the guinea fowl before we head further along. Helmeted guinea fowl, with the chicks not quite having the blue skin of the adults just yet. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is just a few days, Heather. Excuse me. And I think Mark is just going to check for us. As I say, if they haven't been found by a male, then they may cycle fairly soon again after that. And what's quite interesting is they'll advertise the fact, oh, that's beautiful. Saw that just before. But they will give an estrus call, and a lot of the females will actually join in to try and announce the fact that there are females in estrus. So that males that are quite far away will be able to hear them, and this is where that communication really comes in. Males many kilometres away may be able to even hear or feel the vibrations through the ground, and they can feel a lot with their feet. They've got a lot of aha. I was right. Here they are. And there's little Evelyn riding on the back of Mum, Mrs. P. LB sitting next to the marula tree now. And there's the baby. Shirley with the new baby. Oh, look at that. Still very black and pink. I think maybe even Tankman there playing with it. Could even be his. You can see little Evelyn already brown after 6 months, I think she is now. Oh, look at that. Going to his dad. You see, not quite coordinated in the whole jumping and walking thing. For anybody who hasn't met Graham before, there he is. Being joined by little Huey there. And he's been with this troupe for a good 7 years now. Actually is closely in with the troupe. Well, I'll be getting beaten up a little bit by Gordy there, I think. Could even have been Huey actually. Couldn't quite see who was chasing her. So just for anyone who hasn't met Graham before, it's nice to show him. Kind of puts a face to the name. And hi wee pet, Graham has named little baby Genesis. You can see they're totally at ease with him. He is the lowest ranking member of the troop. Oh, sure. Oh, look at that. Evelyn looking like a baboon now. There's quite interesting though. Huey came over to start playing with them, and I think Tankman may have known that he was going to be a little bit rough. It's almost as if he was getting in the way of them, just to make sure. And the two older ones kind of knowing that they were up to mischief. Hi, wee Pat. The oldest baboon, you'd like to know who it is, and how old are they? Now, I think it is Tankman now that the other baboons have gone. I'll see if I can... How many? Who's the oldest? It is Tankman. Ah, okay. Graham's saying that it could be Mrs. Psycho. I'd actually forgotten about the females. The Tank is probably the oldest male and could be a toss-up between him or Mrs. Psycho.
Is that Tankman in the back?
That's Tankman in the back there. You can see those big white patches on his nose. How old would you say he is, Graham? How old would you say he is? Just over 10? Okay. Graham just saying he's over 10 years now. And the reason why it's called Tankman is his love for playing on the water tanks, apparently, when he was a lot younger.
Little one should be called Graham. It looks like Graham.
I wonder if this is one of the first times she's actually had a chance to play with the little one. Because it's almost as if she's sort of still being very wary and not sure if she's allowed to or not. She's being reprimanded there. Hi William, welcome on board to you this afternoon, and saying you've seen baboons killing gazelle on National Geographic, and have we ever seen anything like that? And I personally haven't, but it does happen. They may hunt even impala, maybe take baby impala, and they've even been known to actually take cheetah cubs, leopard cubs. And on my last reserve, and there's a very famous mountain in the area called Honglip, and a very famous man called Eugene Marais, and he was an absolute genius of his age. He did a lot of study on baboons. I actually still need to read The Soul of the Ape, which is his book, and they have published it now. And he actually was pretty spot on a lot of behavioural aspects of baboons, so much so that someone actually tried to take that work and publish it as their own, and they won a Nobel Peace Prize for it later on. I forget which year it was now, and then it was discovered that she actually just lifted all of Eugene Marais' research and passed it off as her own. And there he actually documented 2 male baboons killing a male leopard on that very mountain. And they may not look much, but they're incredibly strong. Their canine teeth are also extremely long, and they can do some serious damage. But interestingly enough, I think it really does depend on the area and the amount of food available, which will dictate whether baboons will start hunting. And here you see the impala mixing in with the baboons, and it probably there is enough food that this troop in particular may not have actually had to resort to that. And quite often you find the impala following them around for any leaves that may have fallen out the trees or any berries they may have dislodged. If they do happen to go there for food. Oh, and that's not going to go down well. Check Shirley, she's keeping a very close eye on it. Female just to the right of the screen, you can just about see her nose in the screen, there we go. Huey just playing a little bit rough there. Now, even though the book title is called Soul of the Ape, these aren't apes, they are monkeys, classed as an old world monkey, the long tail. Apes don't have tails. And even the macaques around Sulawesi and Indonesia, they were also nicknamed the black ape. But on further inspection they do have a tiny little bone as their tail, and they just have a little fluff of fur, which is their tail. Old world monkeys being monkeys found in Africa and Asia, New World being found in South America. Well, the sun is starting to set, and they will be starting to make their way towards the trees to roost. Proud mum and dad there. You see Evelyn getting a lot more independent. Mrs. Psycho, I think, has already made away. Well, she could actually be the other side there, but she's certainly quite a distance from her. I was hoping if that lion is still around, maybe we'll hear him starting to call very soon. Well, let's see if we can make a loop around onto the northern side. You never know. We might hit it lucky, but certainly quite wonderful to spend a bit of time with Shirley and her newborn Genesis. Let's go and see if there's anyone around the dam. Mr. Impala, who are you seeing? Seeing anyone in particular? Oh, it's our male who's got a slight part of his horn missing. Good to see he's holding territory though. Well, I'm assuming he's holding territory, maybe he's just passing through. So definitely something to listen out for is that roar. And they'll throw the head back and snort. And start kind of going. That's my impression. Apparently not. I'm not convincing any impala around here. Although you can mistake it for a lion roaring this time of year. There is... Oh, there's our giraffe too. Didn't get very far, did you boys? You're walking round and round in circles. Have your mums dropped you off again? Bachelor group here of males. Maybe that's why these boys are hanging out together. It won't do you any good to try and be an impala. You are a giraffe. Any stations interested? There's Tootlamiti, just on the eastern side of Quarantine.
Sorry, can you say again, Cara?
Just if you're interested, Tootlamiti on the eastern side of Quarantine.
Thank you.
Actually, I think they are different to the ones that we left behind. Actually, that looks like quite a dark female. No, she came out from behind the termite mound. Yeah, it is a very dark female. I do apologise, lady. Just goes to show, as I was saying earlier, you can't always take it that females are light. And just the way she was standing, it's actually quite a slope here. So she looked much smaller than what she was. Maybe she's looking for the other giraffe. Texan, just if you're interested, to Tootlamiti, eastern side of Quarantine area.
Far to the north, Kayaman. Confirm that it's Quarantine.
Affirmative, they are fambering west onto Quarantine itself.
Copy that, thank you.
Hello. Stand nice and close. As soon as you stop, they disappear. Okay, Let's see if we can get down to the dam before we lose the light completely. Hey boys, give us a shout if you see anything. Ooh, Nyala. That wasn't what I was smelling though. Where are you going to pop out? You can pop out down here. You see him past the bush there. Although we are one bull less, with the crocodile eating one. But hopefully that's going to satisfy him for a little while. I think it was that beautiful big bull who used to hang around the lodge a lot. And he was so chilled around people, he'd actually stand and watch you.
And then Spike got him.
And then Spike got him, yeah. Maybe he was saying to Spike, oh go on then, you can take my picture. See the stripes on them, different to the impala there. Those stripes do help break up the outline of the body. Just like we were saying on the giraffe earlier today, the blotches. So different patterns, especially for animals that live right into the bush. These different patterns just help to break up the outline of the body and helps them to blend much better in amongst the bushes. See one or two spots on the body there too. The oversized ears might also act a bit like those of an elephant. Again, more blood vessels going into the ears, and flapping them might just help to shed a little bit of heat. It's just one of the theories. Could also help to detect predators with a large outer ear, managing to catch a lot of the sound waves, exactly like the elephant again, almost acting like a satellite dish. And I think a lot of these adaptations, I don't think there's always just one particular reason why they have them. For me, I think there's a combination of factors that are involved. There you can actually see how those ears could come in very useful. Couldn't quite see it over the bush, but the ears just a little bit higher. Just detecting what they need to. Cool. Shall we leave the boys to it?
but I do want to let you know about that. Hey, what do you want to do? I just wanted to let you know I'm out of Derry if you want to come in. Okay, so thanks for fires nothing no problem.
Hi, William. Good afternoon. Hopefully you're still on board with us. Wanting to know why rhino bulls have territories but elephant bulls don't. And they go to Guinea Fowl, making their way into the tree. Quite a nice silhouette there. You can hear them softly chirping. I think it's just a different lifestyle, William. Wanting to know why the rhino bulls have a territory and the elephants don't. Just in case I forgot to say part of the question there. Getting distracted by the guinea fowl. But elephants can cover quite a wide area in search of food and water. And the females tend to be quite nomadic. So if the males had territories, they wouldn't really... They wouldn't really come across females very often. Quite often the females call out to the males and the males then go in search of the females. So I think it has a lot to do with the lifestyle of nomadic females, whereas the rhinos, they can afford to find food and water in various areas, and they'll utilize the grasses. And their bodies, even though they're still quite large, they're about 2.5 tons. Whereas elephants, you're looking at anywhere between 4, 6, maybe even 7 tons for some of the larger animals. And living in family groups, you've got to find enough food to support all of those hungry mouths. So maybe that has a lot to do with it. Whereas the rhino can, even though they will cover quite a large area, they can afford to stay put as long as there's water and food available. So males you'll have holding on to a territory, and females will overlap. Come on, Gunda Gunda. Females will overlap those territories. But you tend to find rhinos either on their own, or you may find a female with a fairly old calf, maybe about 5 or 6, and then a calf at foot, a young calf. So the family group, if they are living like that, are much smaller. Good question there, William. And hi Zach, if you're still on board. Good afternoon to you. Good evening now. All the way over there in Pennsylvania. Oh, okay, that was just coming. Good to hear you, Zach. Just having a good look around here because the monkeys were falling yesterday. I didn't really hear them today, but maybe Our Lady might be around. wanting to know, I was talking a bit about white lions and tigers a while ago, and wanting to know what turns the fur white. And it's actually the lack of pigmentation. So to turn the fur a colour, it will have pigmentation, but it's the lack of pigmentation that causes the fur to become white. And that is brought about by, well, it may have been a genetic mutation at one stage, but it's a recessive gene now. So to get a white tiger or a white lion, two recessive genes, one from the mother, one from the father, have to come together to be able to produce a white cub. Now, if either one of the parents has that gene, but the other one doesn't, then you won't get cubs from that pairing. You won't get white cubs from that pairing. So it has to be both animals. Now, they might not show the colour, but they may just be what we call a carrier. So it can be, if somebody does carry that gene, it can be that they pass that gene on, so the cub can become a carrier, and maybe later down the line, its offspring may turn out white. And interestingly enough, in tigers, it's only the Bengal tiger that really shows this white recessive gene. And I think the statistic was that 1 in every 100,000 white tigers born white. And with only around, I think it's 3,000 or 4,000 Bengal tigers left. No, I think it's only about 4,000 tigers in the whole world. I think it's about 2,500 tigers, Bengal tigers left in the wild. You can imagine how many are actually born white. If there was 1 in every 10,000 born. Very, very sad. White lions even fewer. I think there's 2 known in the wild at the moment. And I think they have a researcher that follows them day in, day out and knows where they are at all times. But they're not a subspecies, it's not that kind of an animal. It is just a recessive gene that just gets thrown up. Same as a black panther, they have too much pigmentation. So a black panther is also a recessive gene, but they have too much pigment rather than not enough. Scrub hare in the road, walking towards us. Being as bold as brass. One of the nocturnal animals that we find here in Juma Game Reserve. You see that bushy white tail that sets them apart from the rabbits that are found in South Africa. Although we don't have rabbits here in Sabi Sands. I think this one must be very used to vehicles. Quick, he's charging us. Hide! Where did you go? Oh, there you go. Yes, like he's off. Gone. Oh, he's still there. Running away and skipping his back legs together. Now I'm avoiding putting the spotlight on it completely because with it being a nocturnal and very small prey species, if there is any predators around, it will highlight it up to the predators, which we don't want to do. Seems quite adamant he wants to go that way. Has he come down the side yet? Sorry little one, but I may scare you again. Yep, there he is. It's like, but I want to go that way. Let me see if I can pull off the side of the road for you. Yeah, maybe, eh? Where are you? Is he there? He's coming down the side. Awesome. Absolutely adamant he had to go that way. Hi Adam! Good afternoon to you, and hopefully you are still on board. And I haven't heard any parrots. I wanted to know if there was any parrots on safari. I haven't heard them today, but we do have the brown-headed parrot. A very high-pitched call. I'd love to find. Actually, we're able to just have a quick look at the sky through there. Look at those shades of pinks and purples. I don't know if it's going to come out too well. It's beautiful this evening. Standing by.
Calling Puma vehicle, coming for David. Go ahead, sir. Got your son turning back?
So if you would like to try and join us for another game drive during the daylight hours, hopefully we'll be able to see a parrot for you, catch one on camera for you. Although they are very shy, they tend to in the thicker part of the bush. And who was asking that last question? There's a sighting. And Nick, welcome on board, Nick. Wanting to know if we get hit by the bugs with no windshield. Very much so. Especially when you're holding the spotlight in the summer and all the bugs fly towards you. Especially the big giant dung beetles. That's never fun. Occasionally you do see guides with black eyes because of the dung beetles flying into them. Mvubu Road, checking down the northern side of Mvubu Road now. We're going to head on to Buffalo Cut Line and come down the Lego shortcut, I think. And maybe, if Alan is watching, we might be able to see a honey badger. I'm sorry, I've got to do it.
Okay, copy, thank you very much.
But maybe some of you have seen the Animal Antics. Animal Crackers, I think it's called. And the one that got me was the prairie marmot shouting, "Alan! Alan! Alan!" I must admit, I fell about with that one. So in tribute to both Allans, Honey Badger Alan and King Alan, I hope you are watching. I forget which DJ it was that put the voices to it. You just keep seeing this clip of this prairie marmot going, "Alan! Alan!" And then they put it on and he goes, maybe it wasn't Alan, maybe it was Steve. Steve! Steve! So if you haven't seen it, you've got to watch it, it's brilliant. And thanks to whoever did post it, I forget who it was now, but there's a couple being posted on my wall. Need to have a bit of a laugh in your day, then definitely watch them. Great fun. I think the honey badger tracks were found down this way by Mark the other day. Like around here, which is where we've been seeing a lot of the tracks for them. Yeah, that's it. Junction with the fire break, Gallego shortcut, also Aubrey's Road. So also seeing a lot of them. Who knows? Maybe tonight's the night. Hi, Tiger Man. Oh, sorry. Saw some eyes. Good afternoon to you, Tiger Man. Good to hear from you. The eye has gone. Eating my own dust now. That's not good. Not healthy. Wanting to know what the meaning of Karula is, and have we heard about her and Safari, her mother? Karula means peaceful. I've also heard it being called precious too, which I think definitely definitely sums Karula up. She definitely can be very peaceful, although if you get on the wrong side of her, if you don't treat her with respect, she will put you in your place. I have seen her do that on a couple of occasions. But certainly a worthy lady is that name, Karula. And her mother Safari, and it was quite interesting. I went to a Rangers meeting the other day and they were discussing Safari and a few people were asking about her. And apparently she's spending most of her time on Hoffman's and Little Gowrie. And I know Seb saw her at Baboon Pan the other day. And Mark was telling me that she was also seen at Sydney's Dam a few days ago as well. So I wonder if she's actually starting to be pushed out by some of the younger leopards in the area. And they were actually saying that maybe she's taking on some of Whiteclough's old territory, which could well be the case. But she's still going strong. They said that she is looking fit and well, and she is really doing quite well for a lady of her age. I think she's coming up for about 16, 17 years old now. The Lady Safari, Karula's mother. And I will be writing a blog at some stage, and I know the blogs have slowed down a little bit, and apologies for that. So we have one or two other things that we're doing at the moment. So I'm not finding enough hours in the day at the moment to get them written, but I will get them out and continue on with them. And Mark's saying he posted one, I think that was about the lions and Karula, I hope. Been looking forward to that one. Awesome. So Mark has posted that one out. I did do a brief update of one, of what was going on. And I will be using the pictures I've got sent through. And thank you very much to everybody sending through pictures of that nail-biting moment with the hyenas chasing the cubs up into the tree. So I will be posting that hopefully in the next few days. And anybody interested, I did post the video of the children. Finally I managed to do that. We gave the equipment through last week, towards the end of last week. And the sports equipment that people helped to raise money for, buying calendars. You'll be able to see the huge grins on the children's faces. There's some great camera work from Daniel there, getting in amongst the action. So that is up on the Safari channel. I'll also try and post that on a blog for those of you who are not on Facebook. We'll try and get that done as well.
John, anything else?
Sorry, miles away. I've just twigged what just happened, sorry. I'm hearing wild side on channel 2 and then wild side in my ear. I'm thinking, what's going on? Very blonde moment. It's thanks to who posted it? I think it's been Miguel. Thanks, Miguel. Posting the link I was talking about with the animal crackers. I think it's been renamed Walk on the Wild Side. I think there was an Animal Crackers 2. You can tell I've been let out. I'm very well, thank you. I'll see you later.
I'm home now.
Are you going home? You're going on leave?
Yes.
Oh, I'll enjoy, hey?
No, I'm going to Garagon.
Oh, okay, cool. Alrighty. I'll see you later. Saying hello to Ephraim there. Let's just quickly check down this side. Oh! Wow, the time has just gone. Where did the time go? I'm gonna be put back in my box now. That's not good. Okay, well, let me see if I can just pull around so we might be able to get a closing shot of the moon. This is where the impala have been hiding. Ooh. Wow, that was quite far down. Wasn't expecting it to be that low down. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. I hope you've enjoyed seeing Shirley's new little baby. That was fantastic to see and seeing some of that interaction there. And the giraffes, again, wonderful interaction. And wow, that magnificent bull coming right up to say hello to us. I really was quite breathless at that stage and quite speechless. So I hope you have enjoyed these wonderful sightings today. Thank you very much for all your camera work, Daniel. Mark back in final control. Thank you for joining us here on Wild Earth, and hopefully we'll see you again tomorrow morning at 6:30 Central Africa time. We'll be heading out again to find what else we can find here in the African bush. But take care, enjoy the closing shot of the moon. I'll see you again soon. Bye, everybody.
This thing just doesn't go far enough. Too high. I can't, I zoomed past it.
Unfortunately, it looks like we're just slightly too far back.
My camera
It's
can't
too far up.
pan that high.
The camera's not panning that high.